So one of the things that we see for most you kids at school is essentially posture. Yeah. Hopefully you're sitting behind a desk for a reasonable amount of your time at the moment studying and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we see this kind of stuff up here where, in particular, going from mid-thoracic to cervical spine, we tend to this way. This goes forwards, we iPhones and all this kind of stuff. So what happens then is as you start to rotate, that's going to have to zero out somehow. So that's going to have to straighten up so you can turn your body. Yeah. So in relationship to then how that affects the rest of goings on, sometimes it just doesn't want to turn. Yeah. Because we sit this way and we're trying to control it so much that we can't rotate from there. We'll straighten that out, then we can get some rotation. Yeah. So then you're going to generate a little bit more force. When we start to look at leverage, essentially we want to try and point that shaft at your left groin, so it goes straight up into your left shoulder. Okay, so the best way to deliver a power source is with a straight lever system, right? If it's already broken down, when you come back to then do that then tends to open the club face up and point it right at target, so it squirrels out to the right, so you don't have to manipulate it too much. Yeah. So if we get that set up position a little better, okay, this little decision maker up here makes enough decisions for us anyway without us knowing that it will try and match it up whether you like it or not. It'll try and maneuver it around, yeah, without us knowing really. Yeah. So as you start to take this back, let's see how much rotation we've got, which probably isn't a great deal, right? Okay, so you can generate so much more speed from not a great deal of more energy or output of energy by just turning your body properly. Okay, so we start to see this stuff, yeah, and because of this, to start with, get that rotating a little bit better. This stuff doesn't want to do this, which then changes the radius. So in other words, you're going to hit the ground too early. Okay, so that's got to then come back again, rather than out there at the moment. Okay, so we can generate so much more speed without you doing a great deal more. Yeah. So when we start then looking at how much you can rotate, we've got to start from the beginning with your spine, get that a little bit better. So then we use, as you can see, a lot of mirrors here. So some of your drills that you're going to give yourself and we're going to give to you will be mirror based to allow you to get to rotate and what that feels like, marry that up with what it looks like. Okay, because what we perceive we do and what we actually do are two totally different things. Yeah. So once you've got that, then we can move back down in the golf ball quite nicely. Now remember where you started from? There's that line there. So now we've got that beautiful straight lever system here, but have a look at the club face itself. It's pointing way out over there, right? Okay. So what happened here is you hit the ground before the golf ball, and this is the straight one. This is a really good, cool shot. You get that on grass, unfortunately, that's probably not going to do the same thing. That's probably going to hit that far behind the ball, and then be only 20 yards in front of us. Okay. So we've got to try and, once it hits the ground, it tends to turn this around again. So we will square the club face up and we hit a pretty good one. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen all the time though. Yeah. And then once we're finished, we've got you across there, albeit probably after the thought, but we've got you across there. Okay. So where do we start from? What comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? We get this a little bit better, and we get this a little bit better, and then we get you to do some drills in front of the mirror so you understand what that actually looks like. Okay, there, back in here, that way, what that does, and you will be watching yourself in the mirror the whole time. Yeah. And then we'll whack a golf ball in front of you and away you go. Does that make sense? Okay. So from a pure numbers standpoint, I mean, pathwise and what the golf club's doing and ball speeds and things like that and the club head speeds, we could probably bump that up to at least 60 miles an hour, at least. Okay, now 8 miles an hour doesn't sound much, but in our game that's a bucket load. That's a hell of a lot. So, which then means that we're probably going to get another 20 meters out of you. Okay, make sense? So all that gobbledygook, let's go and do something about it, huh?